Another thing we can do at home to practice, and people probably don't do enough of it either, is practice with this thing here. This is an equipment, it's a tool. It's a tool to what we do. Whether it's a gun, whether it's a bow. Most bow hunters actually do a lot of practice with their bow. They fling a lot of arrows to get good at that, and they practice a lot. Firearm owners don't. We can't do it safely in a lot of areas. We live in urban areas. You're not allowed to be outside shooting your gun. So shooting it becomes hard. There's still other things we can practice. So, we have our firearm. We have our bullet, which makes it a dangerous weapon. Put the bullet in the magazine. We close it. We're in. It's a bullet in the chamber, live and ready to go off. So the most important thing is to always make sure that we have good muzzle discipline, so that muzzle is always pointed in a safe direction, and fingers nowhere near that trigger. That's the most important thing. If a muzzle is not swinging around somewhere dangerous, we can't accidentally shoot somewhere dangerous. So it's always making sure it's pointed, treating the firearm as if it's always loaded. Now my finger goes nowhere near that trigger until I have the crosshairs exactly where I want. That's called that's a trigger discipline. I keep my finger away from that trigger at all times. It's always here. It only goes to that trigger when I want to pull it. When I see people grab their gun and they go this straight away or this, nah, big no-no for me. Always back here. You do not need your finger in that guard. It only goes in that guard just before you're about to pull the trigger. Up until then, stays away from it. Now just so you know, magazine's empty. Bolt, work, nothing in it. We're all safe. We're completely unloaded. Just sit it in there for purposes. I'll explain more about this lacquer band in the next tip. But one thing we get used to doing is always when we walk through the bush, make sure we are on the lowest setting, not the highest. Always double check. Get in the habit of always putting it to the lowest power. Because if you're walking along and all of a sudden you see binoculars and that is a deer standing there 25 metres away, you want to be able to lift up and identify it quickly and find what you're looking at, not just a bunch of fur. So things that people don't get used to. Now, when we're walking through the bush and we're looking and we're finding and we're like, oh, there's a deer. And we've noticed a deer. We've used the binoculars. The binoculars have told us that is definitely a deer. We know where we're allowed to shoot. We know it's a safe shot. So that's 100%, that's a deer. Now it's about getting the gun. Now most people carry a gun on a sling. Some people use the safari slings. A lot of people just use the standard normal sling. It sits on your shoulder here. And what they tend to do is they go like this. They get the gun, and they go like this, and they bring it out, they bring it round, and then they lift up and they look at the deer. So if I do this, I move across that horizontal line. That movement stands out to a deer's eyes. Deer's eyes are designed to catch movement. Horizontal pupils that stay horizontal and level with the ground, no matter what angle they tilt their head on, means they catch movement really, really well. So the fact that you've done really well, you found the deer in the binoculars first, you're onto it, then you want to be able to get the gun. Now doing that horizontal movement, it's a big movement, stands out, might bring you undone. So what I tell people to train to do, and it's practice, and it's rotating the gun off their shoulder forward. So I take the gun like this, I tilt it round, strap falls off my shoulder, gun's here, gun's in front of me, in front of my body line, up in here, and pointing at the animal. All inside my body line, so it's not out sideways movement. And it's not about speed. You can have it on your shoulder, you can roll it off, lift it up, and be ready to go, and quick. It's not about speed, it's about control. So at any point, I'm staring at where the deer is now, I'm eyes locked onto it. I do not want to be looking at what I'm doing here. So that's where the other practice comes in, is you need to understand and feel your gun. My gun, I carry it with this lacquer band holding the bolt up, and I have my safeties here. Safety is on, and the bolt is up. So I can close and put the safety off. So that's the movements I've got to do. I don't want to be looking at the gun, getting the gun to here, getting it round, going, okay, look down, bolts down, safety's off, scope's on low power, looking up and going, oh, where'd the deer go? I can't see the deer. I must have walked off. I spooked the deer. All the doubt and confusion comes in and you start to wonder what you went wrong. The deer probably just stepped forward feeding or just stepped behind one tree and you've lost sight of it temporarily, just dipped over the rise a little bit. It's probably done nothing dramatic. You just start to panic, and that's when, as soon as you panic, you start to rush, your movements become more erratic, and then you tend to spook the deer that was there and didn't even know you're there. So it's that practice of not having to look. So if you watch, I will eyeball the camera, and I have my gun here, my bolt. I'll start off so you can see. Bolt's up, safety's on the back. I have it, I slowly tilt it around. At any given time, if that deer looks at me, I just freeze. I stay still. The deer puts its head back down. It's gone back to feeding again. I rotate the gun around. I got it here. I bring it here. I'm still looking where the deer is. I close the bolt quietly, push the safety off quietly, and I bring the gun up all slowly and controlled. And then when I'm right, before you know it, the crosshair's on the deer, put my finger to the trigger. If something mechanically goes wrong, triggers and stuff are mechanic. That's why this lacquer band. Safety is great little safety. But if it does, and I've rotated the gun to here, and I'm looking at the deer, and I've got the gun, and you see the gun, the angle on the gun, I'll step backwards, it's pointing down. I'll close the bolt, I'll do it sideways so you see, close the bolt, flick the safety off. If it decided to let go, something went wrong, I'm shooting the ground just in front of me. Nice, safe direction. Nothing's gonna get hurt, gonna scare me, gonna scare the deer, but it's safe. And that's one of the main things, is being safe, but being aware that you don't have to look at it. So you can rotate the gun, rotate it round, close the bolt, flick the safety. I'm still looking at the camera. I haven't looked down at the gun once. Don't need to look at the gun. Bring the gun up, and my eyes are still focused. I bring the gun into my focus. Then I look through it. I don't get it here and then go, oh yep, and then try and do that, because you can't see it. So my eyes stay focused where I am, and the gun comes into my focus. Now you can do that at home. Do it somewhere safe. Do it in your garage. Do it inside your house if your wife and your kids are aware of what you're doing. Maybe you're down the hallway if you haven't got a garage, somewhere safe indoors where people know that it's safe. Make sure you're unloaded. Put there a deer hunting magazine, something like that. Picture of a deer on it. Might be a photo you've taken has a picture of a deer on it. Either way, and just get used to the gun on your shoulder. See the deer, oh that's the deer, eyeball the deer, taking it around, safety off, bring it up, and only the last second you dip your head in to check, and then the crosshairs. And if you get to the point when you're instantly aiming where you need to be aiming, so you're putting it on that vital front shoulder zone on that animal, so you can look at the vital zones, you can focus on the area you want. And it's not looking at his antlers or how good he looks or how nice it looks, it's actually just looking at the area you want the bullet to hit. If you're focusing your attention on the area you want to hit, that's the area you tend to hit. And it's not sit there and do it for hours on end, just give it a go for 10-15 minutes, put it away. But next week you can do it. You don't have to just be the 6 times you go hunting a year is the only times you grab hold of this thing. You're not going to get that good at using this tool. So in between, you practice and use it. Get in habit of understanding it, feeling it, knowing where the safety is, knowing you can close the bolt quietly. If I take the lacquer band off for the minute, see if we can be quiet. The deer with their big ears hear everything. So if we just push the safety, you might hear the click. That's a loud metallic sound, very foreign in the forest. Deer don't like that sound. That's enough to get their attention. So if we hold our thumb on it and we rotate it forward, come slightly closer so we can see. There it is there, rotate. Very slight sound, very much quieter than this. So that's where getting practice and using that. So closing the bolt. If we have a deer in front of us and we walk around, we try and be as safe as we can. Safety all the way on, safety's on, bolts down, nothing in the bullet, nothing in the chamber. And we hunt like this and we've got the binos, we see the deer. We do it all right, we rotate the gun. Like we're nice and safe, we go. Close the action. That sound is enough normally to get the deer's attention, all that metallic sound. I'll do it again with a bullet in there so you can hear the difference when the bullet jumps out of the magazine and goes click to go in. Make one round, place him in the mag. How's our mag? The mag's back in, we're all good. Not loaded, can't go off, nothing can happen. So it's nice, it's safe. It's a very safe way to hunt. But like I said, the problem comes with the noise you make if the deer's there. And it's not bad if the deer's 150 metres away. But if the deer's 20, 30, 50 metres away, with them big ears, they're going to hear you. And trying to do this bit quietly, and then off with the safety. Still lots of clicks and noises there that make it very loud. Hard for you to actually do it without the deer noticing you. There's some things you can do that help improve. So we can, because we have been caught in this situation before, and we've forgotten to put a bullet in the magazine, or the bullet has gone click, and you want to do it quietly. You might have had a misfire, and you want to be able to do it. So you got to, because the sound of that bullet jumping out of there makes a lot of noise. So if we hold our fingers on top, and just let it slowly catch it as it comes up, it's a little bit quieter. Close the bolt. Now you're fine. If you close the bolt noisily, it's noise. if you just push firmly forward and quietly and slowly, it's relatively quiet closing the bolt. You're not getting that click, that click there when you. So it's just firm pressure, holding it, slow, down it goes. Same with the safety. It's that slow release of the safety, not as a push and let it click. It's that slow release. Nice bit of pressure, and it's slowly. Then it does make a lot less noise. And it's little tips like that make the difference between a deer standing there, sitting in his bed, unaware of you, rather than getting up and running because it heard the noise you made. Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed that. I'll keep posting up a different tip each week. But in the meantime, if you've got any questions or you've got any ideas for videos or things you'd like to ask me to be able to explain in a video, send me through in a message, and I'll do my best to answer them or make another little short video up explaining how to do it. Happy hunting. Good luck, everybody.